Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft. And we do have the foundation for the little mushroom stall done, and I've put in the three of the pistons where I want to have them positioned. Uh, I'm I'm probably gonna have another one, but it's just the wiring of it is something that's going to be a bit of a hassle because it would need. I'd want to have it here. I would want to have a stair block rise up in to take the spot of this moss stone. So that's just a nice smooth staircase all the way down. But to do that, I need to make sure that it goes last when it opens, but then first when it closes, which is all kinds of annoying to do. But I'm sure we can figure it out. This stall is going to be a bit different from others because it is going to be sort of a little house. The mushroom farmer will live here, and I know it looks small, but the mushroom farm is going to be pretty damn big. I'm going to make sure of that. I do have quite a few redstone lamps stashed away. I think I have like 10 or so stashed away at the moment, but I will get more if more are needed. Just means I have to go back into the nether going for glowstone, not anything else more dangerous. I put the roof on the inn. I decided against having the different leveled uh, roof on either side of the center. Went with just full block, half slab, full block, half slab, and then so on the inside it looks like it's just going up in sets of two, but it's just on the outsides here that I made it so that it actually goes smoothly. And I added some more to the interior here. If we just quickly head up the stairs. I added this little alternating pattern, which you obviously should recognize from the long haul, but minus the redstone lamps just because nothing needs to be lit up there. Just to add a little bit more character to this instead of having just four high of cobblestone. I added in these little chandelier type deals with redstone lamps incorporated into them. This design pretty much just came out by being the most convenient and the least retarded looking. I did have one where it was just the redstone lamp and then I had a switch on each side of it all turned on so that they were hanging down, and it just looked like some weird glowing octopus hanging from the ceiling, and I did not like that, so I got rid of it. And I replaced it with something that I did like. And now the next thing that we need to do is figure out how exactly this circuit is going to go. If you didn't notice, there is cobblestone underneath these moss stones. This is double layered. The rest of the floor isn't, just because you're obviously going to be seeing this. I wanted to make sure that there's not that weird little undergap, which might even end up having some lighting glitches under it, but you're not going to see it, so I don't care. And there's the cobblestone, and the stairway is going to go down like that, which I believe gives me enough headroom to be able to clear it going all the way down. Or at least I should. If it does become an issue, then I just pop in a fourth piston under there, which just pulls this one back as well. It's not too big of a deal as long as I just have the one that's not getting pulled back, which is where you would obviously reach the top of the stairs at. So, actually, you know what? I will really quickly just toss in that piston. No, not two. That can only be one. And quickly. Ow. Should have seen that coming. Alright. And that means we have to dig out these bits. As you can see, More of my sneaky, just saving on supplies, using just the half slabs on the top. And put that there. Yeah, I've figured you out, double placing blocks, knowing where to stand and where to put my cursor to actually make it work. Alright, I'm going to have to dig up a bit of this dirt and go under the blacksmith a bit to do the circuitry. So I'm going to quickly do that, get something set up, see how I can incorporate having another piston here which can push up a stair. But for the moment I'm just going to focus on getting these 4 wired up, and I want it to be like this one goes first, second, third, fourth, so it sort of like opens up as a progression. So I'm going to quickly wire that up and I will be back in just a second. Alright, so I finished. Yeah, sorry, something caught in my throat. Finished the circuit. Got the redstone repeaters all with different delays so that this one here opens up first and then that one there opens up last. And to make sure it all works properly with the lever being in the right position to start off with, I have an inverter here so that by default they're all powered and it's closed, and this repeater's here just so that this piston doesn't get activated by the lever just being pulled, which would cause it to stay closed when it shouldn't be. So I just had to do that to avoid some glitches, some rather weird glitches, but because normally redstone shouldn't work like that, but apparently here it does. So I'm just going to quickly fill this back in. Alright, there we go. So now when we pull this, okay, now, alright, well they're all supposed to go individually, it's a bit slow on my computer, so I apologize for that. But actually, I shouldn't have filled this all in. I'm gonna have to go back in there and fix some things. I'll probably just go into it from the outside because it'll snow again at some point. It hasn't snowed in a while, so that's why there's all grassy patches where there shouldn't be grassy patches, just because of when I've been building some things. Like we've got grass all around here, I want it to all be snow because snow is better. And maybe later on when the city's starting to get really close to, or get much larger, I'll probably make some snow blocks and just replace some grass blocks with full-on snow blocks to just give it the effect and the sound of walking on snow. But now what I'm going to do next is see what I can do about getting a piston to pop up out of here and put a stair block, or no, that's too low. Yeah, that's too low. My mistake. So what I'm going to do is see if I can get this piston here to pop up with a stair block on top of it once these are retracted, and then go down before these push out. It's going to be quite a bit of a pain to do, I'm sure, but I'll see what I can do, test it out, and hopefully get something that works, and I will be back with an update of whether or not it does. Alright, so after a lot of fiddling, finally got it to work. As you can see, stair pops up every time. Alright, and just to show you how I got this to work, it was quite a bit of a pain. from the original line from the lever where it splits off to hit those 4 main pistons. It also branches off to head down here where it goes into a delayed repeater, and then also another line which goes into nothing at the moment. But when the repeater is activated, there's actually 2 sticky pistons here stacked on top of each other. You can see it from this side, which are connected to the stair block and the sticky piston which raises it. So when that's pushed forward, that piston moves onto the active, moves right beside the active redstone wire, which forces the stair block to pop up. And it also, and when the lever is turned off, it compresses down and then is pulled back after the 1 tick delay that's on that repeater, so that the stair block is completely out of the way and I don't get any of the... I tried doing it with just a single piston there, but it kept glitching and it forced this moss stone block to pop out of the ground, and then the mechanism stopped working. So this is obviously the much better alternative. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have to hollow out the area down here to have the actual mushroom farm, and also tidy up all my circuitry and get everything looking nice and disguised again. So I'm going to take a quick break while I do that. Alright, so I finished digging out the area down here, so I just love that. Probably my favorite circuit so far. So we finished digging out down here. We've got weird lighting glitches going on, so the ceiling looks really light, but it's not. This right here is the edge of the floor inside the mushroom stall. So this mushroom farm, it's obviously going to be pretty big. It's going to be the same size as my wheat and melon farms. So that means it will be able to get a maximum yield of approximately a stack and a half, 96 mushrooms of assorted varieties, because I don't want to have just one type growing down here, because then I would need to make an entire other farm, and I honestly don't really use mushrooms for pretty much anything, but I figure I might as well make a farm of every type. So pumpkin farm, melon farm, sugarcane farm, mushroom farm, and I believe that's it. I might be missing something. If I am, I apologize to that thing, and also you, the viewers. But what we have down here is just the raw carve out. I'm going to have to put in cobblestone walls and make some circuitry to get this thing up and running, and do some tests on what light level mushrooms pop out of the floor at, what's acceptable lighting, that so that mobs don't spawn but mushrooms do repopulate. So when I come in just a second, you will be able to see the full circuit. Okay, and after a long trip to the Nether to gather more glowstone to make lamps, short stint of strip mining, which gave me 5 diamonds as well as a whole bunch of redstone, which is what I was going for, and 30 iron ore, surprisingly. Getting killed by a creeper, getting killed by a ghast, and messing up the circuit multiple times, we finally have a working circuit for this farm. And I'm sure there's probably tutorials somewhere that makes like smaller farms or even larger farms that are so much easier to operate, but I want all my farms to have the same shape and the same 4 moss stone in the center. So after all that work, I think it will end up being worth it. And quick overview of what's going on here. Since the switch is currently on to open up the way down here, Uh, it's all hooked up to the same switch, so as soon as you turn it on and open up the stairway down, it also turns on the lights, so you can just walk in and harvest, and then when you leave and close it, the lights will turn off and the mushrooms will begin spreading. There are 4 little blind spots in the center, in the four quadrants. So we have the redstone line which comes down before it goes into the piston set to bring up the stairs. It comes down to do all the lights as well. So it makes its way down, goes through a repeater just to boost the signal because I was having issues with that, and I was struggling to find out what was going wrong, and then I noticed that my line had just gone completely dull. Goes through an inverter, then through another repeater just to boost the signal because I was having some issues, and it turns out I needed to boost the signal here to be able to override the redstone torches which are here. Signal goes in as off, which goes into these repeaters, which puts it directly into the redstone torch. This is all fairly similar to the circuit that I have at the long haul. Goes into the torch, which tells the light to go on. And I was having some issues with the lights not turning off or not turning on. And what it was when I had a redstone line here, this torch would override the entire circuit, and it happened at 3 of the 4 points here. So I had to put in repeaters to boost the signal and also prevent that from happening. So this works all the way around, and it finally ends here or here depending on how you look at it. And that is the circuit all nice and done. And since you can't actually see the lights turn off from outside, we're just gonna take that off to invert a signal of nothing to power it on, and the whole circuit is powered as if the switch would be turned off, and all the lights are off. I'm obviously going to clear out the torches once I'm done with everything else, just so that the mushrooms can actually spread. So since we are actually down here, we need to recomplete the circuit and light everything up. So this is effectively the very first tutorial of how to build a donut-shaped mushroom farm that is automatic with a sweet hidden trap, or not so much trapdoor as epic piston stairway of awesomeness. So the entire mushroom farm in its entirety runs off of this one lever, and when it's up, this just looks like a tiny little market stall with not much to offer. But the owner, of course, he knows better. He knows that he's got a whole operation going on down here. So I am going to cut for a second, and I will be right back with the finished product. Alright, everything's all done, so just pull the switch, get the stairs up, head on down, and we have our fully functional automatic mushroom farm hidden away by an epic hidden staircase entrance, all using sticky pistons and redstone lamp automatic farm of awesomeness. Blind spots are actually a bit bigger, so I could have more mushrooms planted here, but I just want them to spread naturally. And another thing that I noticed is on the corners, the redstone torches actually work as a conduit up through the lamp. So when it's on, the redstone torches in the corner go off. Obviously does not make any difference whatsoever to the amount of light in here. These ones stay on all the time because they're just always going to be there in the center. The redstone torches, of course, just to keep mobs from spawning, because mushrooms can spread in just slightly lighter light than mobs can spawn in. I haven't fully tested this yet for whether or not mobs spawn, but Actually, I will do that right now, and I will be right back. Alright, after 3 tests, I did not get any mobs down here whatsoever, so the redstone torches are doing their job. It'll take a bit longer for the mushrooms to actually start spreading, but the light level is low enough for them to spread naturally. So, with everything done here, we're going to wrap up this episode / tutorial of how to make an epic hidden staircase and fully automatic redstone lamp mushroom farm. If you want to use any of these little creations, feel free to. I don't need any credit whatsoever, but if you impress your friends with it, if you just give them a link to this episode if they want to see how it's done themselves. And until next time, I will see you later.